Hello my friends, there is a new version of LTX video around, version 0.9.8. It promises a long-shot generation on multi-prompt with up to 60 seconds of video. The ComfyUI download, the workflow can be found here, not the download. Make it raw and save as. And then you can load this workflow. It looks like this then. Not good. Especially these connection nodes, the reroute nodes makes me mad. I have no idea what connects to where anymore. This workflow is so super long and very uncomfortable to work with. So the first thing that we need to do is to humanize it, especially if you want to know where all the files go. I have made a list here and where to put them. And this looks much friendlier now. I have already generated a first video with it. As you can see, the upscaling still runs, and this is one of the downsides of this version here. It takes a bit longer. But look here. I start with a candle, and then I have a multi-prompt here. A bit spongy everything here at the moment. And this is separated by this line here. And yeah, you have first my flickering candle and then the ape. And indeed, the ape comes into the video at one point. This is really cute and nice. So here it starts. And then the ape appears. And we start with the files. Let's have a closer look. And we have a checkpoint model. We have a clip model. Then we have a spatial upscaler. Before I start, this here is separated into two parts here. We have one regular part with a low quality. This gives us the 1024 to 576 output. And then there is an upscaler involved here. This is this pink area here. This upscales the video to, I don't know what at the moment. It should be double size at this point, so 2048, I guess. I still need to wait before this finishes to say more here. But let's go back to the files, to the required files that we need. Okay, we have a clip, a checkpoint. I use the FP8 version here since I only have 16 gigabytes of VRAM. This version here requires much more VRAM, I think 24. And then there is here the upscaler, the spatial upscaler. This file is also required. It upscales the latent images. And here is here into the upscale models, spatial upscaler. And then we have an LoRa involved, even here, a detailer LoRa. And this can be found here. And here is a trap, since the name, what you download, is different from the name of the LoRa. So either you rename it to this name here, or do as I did, download it, put it into the folder, and use this download name instead. I have also made a comment here. This here. Oh man, this part here. Now let's have a look at the prompt. You can see this is the line here. This separates the prompt. And there is here the length. We have 360 frames. And we have 3 prompts. And so we have here in the looping sampler, temporal tile size. And here you define how big the single parts are. But there is no way to set them individually, but you have one value. This means you could also type in 60 here, and then at frame 180, this last prompt would remain valid for the rest of the video. I am still far away from understanding everything here, LTX video is unfortunately not this good documented yet. But this was the one thing that I spotted. We have the length, we have here the different prompts and the temporal tile size. Well, LTX video is still in development, and I hope that the documentation will become better over the time. This is what I wanted to talk about in this workflow. And what I want is a workflow where I can use different images. Or one starting image is already enough for me. For me, time matters, and takes simply too long, at the moment at least. So let's talk about the workflows in general, because you might wonder, hey, where did these guys always get their workflows from? And we have here the custom nodes. And then we have here the different nodes, and we have here the ComfyUI LTX video node and example workflows. And this is where you can get your base workflow from. I am, for example, interested in this keyframe version. Just let it drag in. This is this version here with 3 different images. And this is what I want and need. Not necessarily the keyframes, but a version where I can load a starting image and be happy. Also here, there is, of course, this humanizing problem, these workflows here. They are not as compact as I want and needed. It is very hard to work with, but this one is already better than the, I have closed it already, than the workflow that we had at the beginning. You can work with this, know what I mean, but it can be better even. This is this one. It is the same workflow, just more compact. You don't need to scroll around as much. You have everything in view. You can adjust every setting. The green ones that you need to adjust jumps at you. We have nodes and so on. We know where to load the files. And this is unfortunately something that most of the times are missing in the example workflows that comes with the nodes. But it is a good starting point. As told, we have here the keyframe version. We have a base version with just one image. And we have also this trick here. So here you can get your inspiration. Okay, I did my choice. I want to use this workflow here, the multi-image here. I have used it in the past. The older version is this one here. And this method here was using a normal K-sampler and LTX video preprocess and add guides for the single images. And this has changed now in the newer version. They are back to batch images. Let me put this on for a moment so that you can see it better. They are back at batch images. And then they go into optional conditional images. And you need to, let me collapse this. You need to insert this then. So you set the keyframes here in this line, optional conditional indexes. So when I want to process all 3 images, then I would need to type in 0, then let's say keyframe 55, and the last keyframe, let's say 86, and then it would change between these images here, these loaded images here, like defined. Let's revert this. I want to work with one image. And let's put these intermediate and last off. I don't want to work with these images in this video here. I have already recreated a video, and here you can see a problem of the new version. I can't remember that this was so bad in former versions, but here it is. I get a text. In the middle of the video, it turns to a text. I have no idea how to prevent this. This is not the first time. So when you work with LTX video, you need to generate 3 or 4 low versions, and then you can have a look at upscaling, not before. Let me talk about this blur node here. I have it off. Yesterday I had a case where the video started, and the first frame was this candle frame, and the second frame was something completely different, and the video continued then with this different image, and I turned the blur image node off and got this result here. It is at the moment not to repeat. this here is the result with blur. It still shows the text here, half of the image. So we need another seed here. Let's choose another seed. Let's put this from fixed to randomized. This is the seed here that we need. Oh man, what did they do here? ComfyUI, please. Yeah. Randomized seed, let's run it again. Okay, another seed, and now we have no letters anymore in the video, but it turns day. Don't know why, because night, dark. I have everything in the prompt to tell them it should stay in the dark. LTX video has its own mind. You need to run several tries and pick the best one then. On the other hand, this is a great improvement, or rather this low version over the previous LTX video versions. Just to give you an idea, this video was made with, I think, version 0.7. Have a look at the hair here or at the water. So the quality of this dithering is gone much better. Let's have a look at the rest of the workflow now. We have here the loaders, as usual. I have here the markdown node, where to get it. This opens up the download location, where you can pick the file. And here, an overview where to put it then. This is this folder here. This here, ComfyUI, models, and checkpoints. And here you can put the file. We have already covered the images. This here is keyframes. It means you have an initial image. This is at frame 0. This is here in the LTX video base sampler. Optional conditional indexes. At the intermediate image, you put then a comma and put the next keyframe, let's say frame 50. Then you need to put it on and load an image here. And the whole thing can be extended. Means you grab these, duplicate it, and make it even longer. You just need to connect it. This means, let me put it here, in between the image 1, and from here to here, and then you have a fourth image in the chain. So you can extend it, and then you need to put 4 numbers here. Where is it? Here is it. 50, 100, 120, and then it would process all 4 images. Just in case, when you hover over the SDG Guider Advanced node, then you get a closer description what the values does. This list of values here is, it lowers the sigma value down to 0 over time. I have unfortunately no idea over what time frame. Is this frame 8 or is it frame 120? No idea. What sigma does is a high sigma value is more random. The image is interpreted more freely. And with a low sigma value, the randomness decreases and the AI tries to stick closer to the prompt. And this, as told, goes from 1, from freely down to 0. I would leave this as is. It works. There is in this multi-prompt workflow this preset here. Let's copy it over and paste it in here. And you can connect it here to the presets. However, you have different things here. However, first, it makes the output not any different, and it takes a tiny bit longer. There is one more node to progress. So I decided to leave it away. Makes no difference to me. Maybe it does to others. For me, it does not make a difference, so away with it. I have not included it here. Here it is included. It is the original workflow. I'll leave it that way, but not here. The frame rate. LTX video works internally with 30 frames. So this command here made me giggle a bit. Of course, you can make every movie a slowdown movie or a speed up movie, but when it works internally with a frame rate of 30 frames, then you better also choose 30 frames to have really the original speed. The sampler, Euler and Kestrel is a good choice here, works just fine, I'll leave it that way. Here is also where you set up the size, width and height. And the image that you input here is, I choose here, for example, 1024 to 576. It arrives somehow. So here you set up the size, and here you also set up the number of frames. Optional conditional indexes, we have already talked about it. The strength is okay with 0.8, and the rest of the values fits. Well, we have arrived at the upscaling part here. This is first the spatial upscaler. There's a subgroup here. And you need this model here. This is mentioned here. Scroll down. It is nearly at the end. This is the spatial upscaler. Here we are. 0.98. You need to download it and put it into the upscale models. And this factor here means the original images get upscaled by 2. Looks a bit odd, 0.25. No, it is upscaling. We have here a width of 864, and then it's a double of it. And then it goes into the sampler, this time a tile sampler. I had to increase the tile sizes since my graphics card is too weak for it. And so it takes a pretty while to finish this upscaling here. But it is still somehow fast. I think I needed 20 minutes for 10 seconds, and this is not bad, especially since we get a really upscaled result with lots more details. Then this is absolutely fine. Then we have here the film grain node. This is pretty nice, gives a good result. Turn it off if you don't want to have this grainy effect. And then I have put here the final upscaling node to get my 1920 to 1080, because this value here is not really 16:9 ratio. It is close to, but not really. Well, yeah, I could use here the 1024. Yes, to 576. And then I would still be away from 1920. Yeah, I need the upscaling here, either way. And frame rate, as usual, 30. I have set here in the video combine, in the output, the config, the CRF, not the config, to 12. Lower values means higher quality. Here we have the default quality of 19, and this one here has 12. Conclusion. Well, the quality has improved dramatically. The new feature is really nice here. As you can see, the multi-prompt here is really great. Super result here. But on the other hand, with the candle here, I had 20 tries and had 19 results like this one here. I had one version where you could have seen a game HUD and signatures and text everywhere. And no, it is really, I can't use it. This is too much odd results. For the cat here, it works fine. But here for my candle, it completely fails. So I have mixed feelings. I don't think that I will use this model. I wanted to animate this candle here, and I can't, as you can see. The new model is nevertheless lots of fun here. And when you have the right starting image, then you get really great results. So have fun with this workflow, and see you next time.